As you can see, this clip that I'm going to play is from Morning Joe, and it kind of upset me. So I'm going to play this clip, and then I'm just going to ask a couple of questions regarding racism in America and how it is propagated.
The governor of Maine, Paul Lepage, facing criticism over comments he made Wednesday night about heroin trafficking into his state. Take a listen.
Number one, I got a bill into the legislature right now to take the traffickers. Now, the traffickers, these are people that take drugs. These are guys that are named D-Money, Smoothie, Shifty, these type of guys that come from Connecticut, New York. They come up here, they sell their heroin, then they go back home. Incidentally, half the time they impregnate a young white girl before they leave.
Okay, there's a lot of places to go with this, but let's just get with the obvious stuff. In the state of Maine, according to the 2014 census, there were 1.33 million people in the state, of which 1.3%, or approximately 160,000 people were of Hispanic descent. 1.1% of the Maine population was black, or approximately 137,000 people. 0.6% were Indian, or approximately 67,000 people. Now, as far as drug dealers coming into Maine, if they're coming in from New York, they have to go from New York through the state of Vermont and into Maine. If they're coming into Connecticut, if they're coming from Connecticut, they have to pass through Massachusetts, through Vermont, and into Maine. Now let me ask you a question. If only 1.1% of the population of Maine is black, then you see black people in the area. That, in my opinion, would be something that is a bit unusual. And being a black person, if I saw another black person that I didn't know, I would consider it a bit unusual. So for this governor to state that it's black people coming into his state and selling heroin is a bunch of crap. Now, if you look at it the other way, it's probably white guys going down into Connecticut and New York, procuring their product and bringing it back. There are no major or even minor distribution networks from production to a final seller that are controlled by black gangsters or gang members, or whichever way you want to go with this thing. As far as selling in major metropolitan areas, yes, I will acknowledge that, no ifs, ands, or buts. But when you're dealing with basically all white populations, you're not going to have a lot of black people, even Hispanics, that are going to be doing any type of major distribution in all white areas. This is going to be white guys. Now, the other point I wanted to make was, he mentioned that these black guys are impregnating their white women. If that is not a racially tinged statement, I don't know what is. He should have just gone out there and said, you know, black guys are up here raping our white women and we need to do something about it. So I just thought that I would bring this to your attention as to what black people, and in particular black males, face when dealing with quote-unquote Paul Lepage, who represents mainstream American thought. Now let me back up off of that. I do not believe that most Americans have the same opinion that this guy does. But this guy's opinion, being that he's the governor of a state, carries a lot of weight and tends to form and shape a lot of opinions. And this is the kind of opinion that we as black people, if we're ever going to be able to shake the stigma, of drugs and underperformance, this is the kind of guy that is definitely not going to help us.